Hello, my name is Tyler Ross, and I'm with the Madison County Soil and Water Conservation District in the beautiful southern Appalachian Mountains of western North Carolina. Today I'm going to talk to you about local work groups, how we've done it in Madison County. The purpose of the local work group, it's an opportunity to meet with interested partners on the landscape of the district in order to identify natural resource and environmental concerns on the local level and how best to address them. In my opinion, the backbone of a good local work group is who all is in attendance and making up that local work group. As we discussed on the previous slide, the point of the local work group is to discuss the natural resource concerns and environmental issues on the local level and how to address them moving forward. This takes many hands and many opinions and many people. For our local partners, the county government had a few folks from their departments, such as environmental health and county planning, in attendance. Our office, along with Extension, hosted the meeting. Our partners at the Resource Conservation and Development Office also were in attendance with all their staff. Our state partners were the North Carolina Forest Service, the North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission, and many of the departments within the Department of Agriculture. We also reached out to the North Carolina Department of Environmental and Natural Resources Division of Water Quality and had them send one of their folks. Our federal partners are always the Natural Resource Conservation Service as well as the Farm Service Agency. We also had folks from the U.S. Forest Service come out because in Madison County they are the largest landowner. We also reached out to our partners at the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to get a federal regulatory presence. One of the most important groups that were in attendance were our community members. Many of the ag producers were based in cattle, but we also had some small CSA operators in attendance, as well as Christmas tree farmers and forested landowners. We also had nonprofits that ranged from environmental concern organizations to agricultural sustainability organizations and other community groups. We also reached out to legislators on the state and federal level, and surprisingly, we had state House and state Senate members in attendance, and then we had staff of the U.S. House of Representatives and U.S. Senate members for our area. As you can imagine, with all those in attendance, there was a lot of discussion on issues within the county. There was also a lot of discussion on how to address those issues, what best management practices would work, and so on. So our takeaways from the meetings was that we identified issues and we agreed on the primary issues affecting our natural resources. We also evaluated a way and discussed on potential sources of funding to address the identified issues. The other big takeaway from this was we wanted to maintain the partnerships that we had developed from these local work group meetings moving forward. One of the other things that came about after this local work group meeting is that we had a lot of information available to share among our partners as well as with the general public. So with us, the way that we did that was a lot of the information and a lot of the discussion was available for folks at our field offices. Our office, the Extension Office, Farm Service Agency had information, NRCS did, as well as the North Carolina Forest Service, Wildlife Resource Commission, the U.S. Forest Service, and the others in attendance. We also presented the results and findings and discussions at different meetings. For myself, I presented at the district board meetings, meetings with other districts, as well as commissioner meetings. I know some of our counterparts also presented the results with their higher-ups within their agencies, as well as other colleagues within their certain areas. So moving forward, we have established to where we have an annual meeting to the best of our ability with all of the partners. We know that working to address the resource concerns is going to be an ongoing thing, so we strategize how best to do that. And then we also work with our elected supervisors on our board and our commissioners, as well as others, to work with legislators to make sure that we have means and ways to address the resource concerns that we've identified. Some of the examples of things that have came away from our local work group meetings are as follows. We were able to work with the NRCS to introduce a working lands for wildlife for the golden-winged warbler and partner with the Rough Grouse Society on how to implement EQIP in order to work on golden-winged warbler habitat and its loss across the southern Appalachians. Myself and Mountain Valley's Resource Conservation and Development, and then the Madison County, North Carolina Forest Service, and the Extension Office also formed a thing called Resilient Madison. Our overarching goal of Resilient Madison is to analyze on a quarterly basis and sometimes bi-monthly basis certain projects within the district that we're working on. For example, one of the things we're working on with Resilient Madison is addressing a miscanthus infestation that we have across the county that is actually a very large fire risk and very big natural resource concern as invasives take over the landscape. We meet on a bi-monthly schedule right now to discuss ways to move forward and identify funding sources and whatnot. As of right now, we're actually working with the U.S. Forest Service and other agencies on how to eradicate it on their landscapes, which brings me back to the next result that came from this local work group meeting. We've partnered with the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, Division of Soil and Water Conservation, and the United States Forest Service to enter into a Good Neighbor Authority agreement to where the Madison County Soil and Water Conservation District Office will work on Forest Service land to address invasives and use that information on how to give that information to the public as well as to our farmers and our other landowners that are working to eradicate these issues on their properties. With Resilient Madison and the Good Neighbor Authority, there are a lot of other opportunities for us moving forward on best ways to participate on the landscape. Thank you all for your time, and if anyone would like to reach out to me, my contact information is below. I'm tross@madisoncounty.nc.gov, or feel free to call my office or my cell phone. Thank you.